Alrighty, so let's shift gears to USC. USC, it all starts at head coach Lincoln Riley, one of the best head coaches in college football. Lincoln Riley, an offensive genius. He's innovated. He's been proven to develop quarterbacks. USC got one of the better quarterbacks in the country, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is such a dynamic thrower, can make plays on the run. He's projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. What's interesting for USC this year? Well, how many of the transfers make a huge splash impact? You got Bear Alexander, a transfer from Georgia. He's got some size. He was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. He landed a transfer from Vanderbilt. Got a few other guys, so it could be a whole new defensive line. So we'll see if those guys make an impact. USC had to make an emphasis on building the trenches and getting more dominant on the defensive line. They had what was that one guy's name? They had a D tackle who's really good. He got drafted, but USC over the last couple of years, has had a few guys, but they have to have more of a presence on the defensive line. That's one thing that they really have to have. I think Caleb, as of right now, I'd say Caleb Bullock's the one true difference maker on the USC defense. Bullock, a versatile safety. Can play the deep half, deep middle. He's an excellent tackler. He's tough, can make plays on the ball, whether that's coming down with tip passes or just coming down with clean interceptions. So Caleb Bullock, he's up there as one of the top safeties that'll be draft eligible next year. But yeah, USC, they've got some weapons. Dorian Singer, transfer from Arizona, a guy that did some nice things at Arizona. I think he adds a good dimension to the USC offense. A guy that can work the slot. He's got speed to come around and pick up yards on end arounds. Mario Williams is a really good receiver. He'll be in the mix, one of the top receivers 2024 NFL Draft. You saw he was kind of the number 2 guy to Jordan Addison a little bit last year, but this is a guy I think that has some upside in his play. But USC, yeah, the Pac-12 is going to be tough. You got Utah, Oregon is on the rise with their new young coach. So yeah, I mean USC, they definitely have the ingredients to win a Pac-12 title. Caleb Williams, best odds to win the Heisman Trophy. But the question mark is, could they afford to lose 2 games? Or even could they just afford to lose 1 game and win the conference title and still get in? And I think it's a legitimate question for USC. But yeah, USC with a tough schedule and with Washington, Oregon, Utah, with a lot of teams super competitive. It's not going to be an easy road for the USC Trojans this year. So can USC? Can they win the Pac-12? Number 1, have they made enough improvement on the defensive side, on the defensive line and the offensive line to really do something special here? And does Caleb Williams continue to play at a high level? Now, and what I mean by that is Caleb Williams, obviously he's played really well the last 2 years. That's why he's in the running for the number 1 pick. But you've seen guys that, go really high in the draft that maybe their third year, they don't really have the best year and still get drafted, number 1 overall. Remember, Jameis Winston, his last year at Florida State didn't really have the best year overall as compared to his first year starting, and he still got drafted with the first overall pick. Now Caleb Williams, I think, is a better player, but Caleb Williams, could struggle with interceptions. Hopefully for USC's sake, he's not banged up or injured, but he could get a little banged up, and that could affect things. So there's things that could happen, and Caleb Williams can have his best year. Maybe USC does deal with some injuries, and some of the transfers don't pan out, and they lose. Maybe they do drop 4 or 5 games, and they aren't really in the mix at all as far as the conference title or the national title. It could happen, but. Yeah, USC, it seems like what I've seen for everywhere, USC is a popular pick to make the playoff in their or one of the teams that makes the playoffs for the first time this year. So, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, USC, as far as they check a lot of boxes as far as ingredients that I talk about for making the college football playoff, really good head coach, elite quarterback play, weapons at the skill position, things trending in the right direction. Now the line of scrimmage, something I'm big on. That's a question mark, but I think this offensive line probably is good enough to win the conference title. I think, do they have the pieces in place on the defensive line, and if so, can they play at a high level from start to finish? I think those are some of the key ingredients. USC has the case for why they could win a conference title, and then those are some the offensive line gelling together, and they're playing at the line of scrimmage. It'll be the question that has to be answered.